Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor, and this is Vilde. Developed and published by Chaotic Minds, and gifted to me through Press Engine, so thank you to Press Engine and Chaotic Minds. This is a fast-paced, first-person shooter roguelite with a Norse twist, or Norse flavoring, as they kind of put it. Now, I have played this game for 2 hours at the time of recording, and let me tell you, it needs work. This is a game that I would think of, when I think of early access, when I think of something in development that needs community feedback to help it kind of get to what the devs want versus what feels good. So I am going to be pretty blunt with this game, as many of the reviews have been. As I said, it needs work. To start off with, the story is basically non-existent. As you can see in the trailer, the character says, some shard fell in the village, it was really great until people got greedy and then corrupted it, and now I'm back because it's about to destroy the village. I don't know what any of that means. I don't understand what this thing is doing to endanger her village and her friends and people, and how she is meant to stop it. I don't know who any of these characters are. There is no overarching story as far as I can tell. You get the opening cutscene, and then from that point, as far as I've experienced, it is just run after run after run, with no character interaction, with no story development, or anything like that. Now, the gameplay itself, as you can see on screen, is rough. So I did play it before it released on June 12th, and then now on June 24th, I did have some personal business I need to take care of in between, so I was unable to play it after the update came out immediately, and so kind of checked it out afterwards, and the devs have said that they are working on more updates, more fixes, and they did fix some things, not very many, I'm not gonna lie, but it needs so much more work than what has been given, and that's why I say this should have been an early access title. To categorize the other issues that I have with the game, I'm gonna start with its Nordic inspiration. Now, I say inspiration because this game has a cool concept, a cool idea of taking Norse mythology and putting it into guns and other weaponry. I say other weaponry because you can get some melee weapons as well. What I would have loved to see is those individual characteristics of certain gods, deities, or mythical figures expressed really well and really thoroughly through these weapons. Now, there are 24 weapons overall, and I think that's too much. I understand wanting a lot of weapon variety for a roguelite, but I think the devs focus so much on getting this number of weapons that they don't make the weapons feel unique in any way. Like, I'm using a regular AK-47, I'm using a regular minigun or a shotgun. There's nothing about them outside of the visuals that make it seem unique, that make it feel unique. I would love, again, let's say you have the AK-47 that's, thunder and lightning based, that's more based on Thor, we'll assume. If you could do something special with it that the other guns can't do. Now, each gun does have its own special ability, but I haven't been able to figure out what all of those are, even after testing most of them out. And they don't feel thematically appropriate, they don't feel thematically unique for what they're based on. Like, maybe the lightning gun does lightning damage, like it chains between enemies. Maybe the frost assault rifle freezes enemies. Like, again, you have the foundations here for what could be really unique weaponry and really unique gameplay that would take a lot of work. Absolutely. I'm not trying to say, oh, just snap your fingers and get it done. But to have, this kind of foundation and this capacity for making interesting gameplay and then not capitalizing on it kills me, because I'm just using an assault rifle, I'm just using a shotgun, and it's just so bland. There's no substance to really bring me back. In addition to that, you get certain powers and abilities which also don't feel great. I'm shooting a fireball, I'm shooting an ice ball, I'm shooting a whatever. The powers themselves don't feel super unique. Or like picking a runestone for run specific upgrade. Again, doesn't feel unique. They're percentage based upgrades. There's no animation for it. It just all feels very generic and not well capitalized on. You could have them be, much like Hades, blessings from the gods that then give you different abilities, right? Like maybe you get vampirism, maybe you get speed or other magical abilities. Like, I'm not sure, I'm unfortunately not too well versed in Norse mythology, but let's say a god or mythical hero associated with fire gives you the ability to use fireballs or maybe imbue your weapon with fire, right? Just something more thematically appropriate than, oh, take this runestone, okay, bye. For some reason, the cursor drifts, whether I'm on controller or mouse and keyboard. I will have my mouse, like my hand will be off the mouse, my hand will be off the controller, and you will see the crosshairs slowly drift in whatever direction I was last looking. Like, it'll take momentum and just drift that way. I tried turning mouse sensitivity up or down to see if that fixes it for a moment, and then it stops. So that's a big issue because my shots will just slowly drift away from where I want them, and it's really annoying when that happens. The other thing, and something I forgot to mention, is the meta progression. The meta progression is basically non-existent. You get a few percentage-based upgrades like, oh, get a little more health, get a little more ammo for this weapon type. And eventually you can pick what weapon you start your run with, which is fine. The problem is I don't care about the weapons. Again, they're not that interesting, they're not very unique, they feel underpowered in every sense of the word. And they come in a Fortnite colored rarity system that I absolutely hate. So I could get a, white shotgun, I could get a golden shotgun. And because it happens to be gold, it's going to do more damage. I don't understand why. I do understand why they went with a rarity-based system, but in my opinion, if you're going to do that, add in more abilities for those weapons. Say the white, version has 1 ability, the green has 2, blue has 3, purple has 4, gold has 5. And then even shrink down the number of weapons. I know that's kind of sacrilegious to say, hey, don't have more weapons in a roguelike, but again, look at Hades. That was a beautifully handcrafted roguelike with 6 weapons. But you could spec and change those weapons to kind of fit your playstyle a little better. And I think if they had done that here, focused here on a smaller number of weapons, they could have made each one feel unique, each one feel more thematically appropriate, and feel better for the player. Moving on from you as the player, we get into the arenas and the enemies. There is very little enemy variety here. Between the 1 level that I was able to experience, there are 3 levels total, but I was never able to beat that first boss. So you fight a couple melee enemies, you fight a couple flying ranged enemies, and a couple ground-based ranged enemies. And let me tell you, the flying ranged enemies, these little like bats with just a glowing eye, are the absolute worst because you have to shoot them directly in the eye to do any proper damage. And because it's in first person, a lot of the attacks, though telegraphed, are hard to determine their location and whether or not they're going to hit you. And then you're also limited in terms of your field of view, because again, first person, so I may be being shot at from an angle that I can't see because I'm focused on a melee enemy that's approaching me from my left, and then again, I don't see a shot coming in from my right, and I take damage on one or both of them potentially. Couple this with very small, very, in my opinion, not well-designed arenas, and you get a really bad feeling experience. Like, I will dash away from one enemy on top of another enemy, or I'll hit a piece of scenery not realizing it was there. Because the arenas, again, are so small and crammed with things, especially changes in terrain and environment. Changes in the terrain in terms of your height and environment, you'll get stuck on things you didn't realize were there because you were so focused on the enemies. A lot of the environments need to be bigger, a little more open, not for the sake of cover, but for the sake of maneuverability and mobility, right? If you're gonna have this fast-paced action shooter, you want to be able to express that speed and that split-second decision-making. You can't do that, though, in an arena where you dash and you're on the other side already. Couple that, too, with sluggish animations for you and the enemies, and everything just feels so undercooked. Now, I 100% believe this game could be fixed, and if, enough people speak out about it, if the devs follow through with what they're promising, I think it will be. Like I said, they've already added some updates to kind of fix some graphical settings. They have still not fixed the mouse drift. They are planning to rework weapon animations, meta progression, add new runes, visual performance. It's in rough shape. All in all, this package goes for $17.54 Canadian, so probably $15 US or your regional equivalent, and I cannot recommend it. It is, as I said, the definition of an early access game. It will improve provided the devs are able to put the time and effort into making it a better game, into making it what it could be, but that will take a long time. And I don't believe at its current moment that it is worth your money, it is worth your time, because it does not provide the value that it promises. And I hate to say that. I wish the devs all the best, and I hope they're able to make this game into what it actually could be one day. With all that being said, let me know what you think of the gameplay in the comments down below, or if you've checked out Vilde yourself. This game has been officially table tested, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!